Welcome to another episode of the Global Green Action Project, a place where we get to meet amazing heroes doing great changes in the world to make it a more compassionate, kinder place through humanitarian, animal, and environmental initiatives. I'm your host, Jennifer, and today we have a bonus edition with the amazing Maryann Harman from a conversation we started in previous videos. However, today we're going to emphasize how we can empower youth to follow a similar path to hers, where one can incorporate music and education to help heal the world. We're going to dig deep into her journey and adventure on how she got to where she is today to further inspire youth to never give up and be open to possibilities so that they can uncover their gifts to further support the world in the most amazing ways. I'd like to delve into how we can support youth, the older kids, and not necessarily just the teenagers, but youth in their 20s and 30s who might like to get into a path that is similar to yours. Music, tying music and education into their lives as their passion, their why to support the world. What recommendations would you give to them so that they can follow a similar path to yours?
I I think that the interest has to be there before then, but if watching like something like this makes them say, I can do that, then I would suggest a very simple answer: just do it. Go to your local recycling place and ask how you can get involved. Um, Whether it might be that they need advocates to go speak at schools, or be at events, set up a table at a market and just be there to talk, play songs that advocate for, things like play my songs. Yeah, go ahead. That will get people to come to the table and talk to you. Volunteer to go to libraries for children's story hours. And if you sing songs, go in and do that and find the books. Like I found a book and then I sing a song with it and we talk about it, making the connections. So I find it frustrating that there's a lot of people in that generation that have gotten away from the recycling. And that concerns me because I see a lot of that with some of the parents that I work with that aren't recycling or aren't aware of those things, or they don't want to do anything about it because what good am I going to do? Like, are you upset about all this over packaging? Then say something. Write to the company. My daughter and son-in-law make fun of me all the time because I write letters. Maybe I'm being a Karen, but I'm kind of thinking I'm being caring, not Karen. Because if you see something like a grocery store that doesn't have the option of better packaging, talk to them, like it says in the song, like I was taught by the people that hired me. Make your voice be heard. You don't have to be obnoxious about it, but just loud enough that a few others could hear you and maybe do the same thing.
Powerful share. I'm curious about also a little bit about your background. I'm curious about how you got to where you are today, because that might also inspire youth in terms of seeing some similarities to your background and perhaps what their experience has been in their lives.
Well, I graduated from high school. I had no plans, zero, zip, zilcho. And in July, I started noticing that my friends were leaving town to go to this place called college. I was like, college? Who's going to college? Now, mind you, I came from a family of immigrants, Ireland and Italy. And I actually was the first one to go to college. Except for my cousin. I had a cousin that was older than I, and she went to college, and I kind of thought she was cool. She went. And I actually had two cousins that went to college, and I went to one's college graduation, and Julie Andrews was the speaker. And I was like, I love that. So when I realized people were going to college, I thought, well, what am I interested in? I always liked being the teacher, because when I played with my friends, I liked being the one in charge. So, which could have made me a little bit rough to handle sometimes, but I went to the local community college and signed up for classes, mostly music. And I came home and handed my father the bill. And he was not very happy with me. He's like, what are you doing? I said, he goes, had I known, I would have prepared, but daughter, you're just dropping this on me. I go, well, can we do it? So he goes, yeah, we'll make it happen. So I went to junior college, and while I was there, my sister had her son in a Catholic school. And the nun said, I wish somebody could write a school song for us. So my sister volunteered me. And I went in, I wrote the song. She said, I would like you to go from class to class and teach this to all the children. Okay, so I did. Then this nun pulled me in and she said, no, you have a natural talent with children and music. And I said, oh yeah, I've done this my whole life. She goes, but why aren't you a music teacher? And I go, huh, that's a good idea. Okay. So I taught at the Catholic school for 2 years, and I loved it. I loved it. And so I quit and went back to get my degree in music. And that's how I became a music teacher. But when I was a little girl, I used to arrange the kids into shows, and we would perform for our parents. And when I was in elementary school, I was always working with the little kids and singing with them and putting on shows. And so I think that I didn't come from the type of family environment that noticed or encouraged that. So I never thought of it. So then I went and got my teaching degree and started teaching music. And as I had shared with you, Jen, when we were just talking, is that I'm really very organic. I follow things as they lay in front of me and go, huh, it looks like an interesting path. And I just take it. And along the way, other things came, like this woman calling me from the recycling department, and the police officer calling me and saying, need songs for self-esteem to help children, learn to make good lifestyle choices. And I'm like, okay. Or the lady that called me to write songs for my mindful music, or Becky Bailey, who asked me to set the I love you rituals to music. All of this just came to me, and I followed it. I wasn't afraid to follow it. And so that my advice would always be, if a door opens in front of you, don't be afraid, step through. What's going to happen? You could either step through and find out, and maybe you'll fail, but maybe you won't, or you could stay on the other side and never know. That's how I got here.
That is an incredible story, and I'm sure it will inspire many in terms of sort of their next steps. Especially now with these unprecedented times, there's a lot of youth out there trying to redefine themselves in terms of perhaps some career choices they thought they were going to make, and maybe they're trying to tweak it and they're not quite sure how to identify also maybe what their why is, like what their joy is, and as you said, stepping through that door when it's offered to you is not a bad thing. It allows you to find opportunities you might never have known before.
Right. Exactly. And then, likewise, what happened was, as I was teaching these music classes that I started and recording this music, and by the way, that Because We're Friends song won a John Lennon Songwriting Award. I was like thrilled that I have John Lennon Award on one of my songs. Never thought that. I've got a letter behind me that they're hanging up, is a letter from President Reagan for a song that I had the kids record about being proud to be American. So you just do these things and don't be afraid. Don't let people tell you no. I went back to school and got my master's degree. I mean, this from somebody that didn't even know she was going to college to 2 weeks before the session started after her high school graduation. and here I am with a master's degree teaching teachers internationally, because this is where I was meant to be. And I believe that. And I love it. I'm just like so passionate about it.
I love it too. I love how you bring the joy to the educational piece, and that's so key. We can't learn if we don't have fun doing it.
Exactly. You don't want to all be on the board of education, BORED.
So true. Well said. Wise, wise words.